Okay, so first of all, welcome everybody, and thank you for coming to the first launch of Promethean Fire. We'll be going through a beautiful journey today. We have amazing speakers and we have amazing people like you. But first of all, we would like to have the speakers on the stage. So Daniel, Will Harburn, and Lumi, and Owen Barnes, and Livia. Okay. Yay. Good. You can just take your seats here. Yeah. Beppe. Do you mind closing the door? Yeah. You can sit here. Have we got everybody? Owen, do you wanna sit? Do you wanna? You can sit there if you want. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, whoa, it's really nice to see this place like this full actually. Yeah. So before we start today, I would like to take you onto first a journey and where we first explore the name of the event and where that's coming from. So before we dive into what's happening in 21st century, let's first go to a bit of ancient Greece, where the name of Prometheus is coming from. So let's first imagine we are looking at the Mount Olympus, and it's like thousands of years ago. And just imagine yourself in one of the Greek mythology, and you're actually sitting on this Mount Olympus, and you are one of the Titans. And according to Greek mythology, there was Titans and gods, and they were ruling the humankind. And you're one of those Titans, and you are looking down on Earth, and then you see all this greenery, and inside the greenery, you see the animals and an ecosystem, and everything is nice and beautifully working, and then the ecosystem, and suddenly you start what? No, and then you suddenly start seeing the first mammals and first form of slightly more intelligent beings, and just wandering around, and then you start seeing the monkeys, and then you realize that this monkeys actually have potential to be like you, because according to the Greek mythology, Prometheus is the Greek titan that it shapes humans out of clay and combines the god's DNA with the DNA of a monkey, and then turns them into human beings, and that's what the evolution is. And also you also know that on the Mount Olympus there is a fire. That's fire that only supposed to be used by gods. But you also, as the Titans, you will know that if this fire is shared with humanity, with the Homo sapiens, they can also start evolving and progress their civilization, and eventually become like you, and then come to Mount Olympus and enjoy from immortality to for the abundance of life. And what Prometheus did was, Zeus had a command, and Prometheus didn't obey the command of Zeus, and he climbed the Mount Olympus, tricked Zeus, stole the fire, went down, and taught mankind and how to use the fire. And over a period of time, by using the fire, humanity started cooking, humanity started shaping new tools, but most importantly, we started enlightening darkness. So we were not anymore scared of dark. And this gave us, a whole new forms of experiences and exploration. So we started, understanding how the fire worked, and then we started enlightening our not only just the caves, but think this as an allegory, because when we started, using this fire, and then we started actually turning our minds inside out, and then in the caveman time, they were having ceremonies deep inside the cave and using the fire and just painting and their inner visions to the cave walls. And then the first forms of communication started appearing, and then which was in the form of art, and then which was later on followed by language. So then we moved a bit further, and we started actually shaping metal and steel, and we started shaping new tools, and we started understanding what the nature was, and these tools started allowing us to understand our nature, because we are tool-making creatures, and as we shape tools, they shape us and our understanding of reality. And eventually, 1,000 years passed by, and then the civilization started appearing, and just according to our acknowledged history and our current civilization, around 10,000 years ago, agricultural revolution came into being. And what that meant that like by using this fire over a period of time, we start understanding the laws of nature and laws of physics for their, in their own and understanding. And then we moved from like 60, maybe like we used to live maybe 40 to 80 people in a community where everybody knew each other, where everybody had so many different roles that they were playing. But then now we moved into big cities because now we could actually gather food, we could actually control nature and feed masses. So what happened when we started living in bigger groups? Cities were formed. And when we start living in cities, we start living together with thousands of people. And when this happened, now because we were not living with a small group of people anymore, anonymity came into being. So we didn't know if somebody came into a house and started stealing something, we wouldn't know that. If we lived in a small community, we would know who would have done that. But anonymity started because according to the Dunbar's theories that like a human being, by the way, we still have the same brain capacity of a human being that existed 10,000 years ago. So back then and again today, we only have 150 people capacity in our minds that we can keep in our memory, and then the rest is just like when we just forget or we just remember them, but not quite sure. I bet you have had experience of like just meeting somebody in London, they remember, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of know you. But and that's because of that Dunbar's theory. So then once that happened and anonymity came into being, obviously some smart people in this society came with an idea. Hey, why don't we actually, if you pay me taxes, if you pay me this and that, I will bring you security. I will defend your family. I will help you, grow just take care of your land freely. But then, and eventually this started creating a class system in the society. And this is something we're quite familiar with, at this famous pyramid where it's held by the majority of people, and then just starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then in the end just the money unfortunately rules. And then just to sum it up, if you think about it, just the sharing fire with the Homo sapiens took us from living in caves and to building this kind of crazy structures. And this only happened with the beginning, with just using fire, not shivering in cold anymore, not scaring, fearing darkness, and just shaping tools, and by shaping those tools and shaping our environment. And these megastructures now became this, right? Oops. Yeah, massive cities that we're all part of. And right now we're in one of these biggest cities, and again, just I would like you to think about how just something really simple for us, like a lighter, and had started this evolution, and just and just had a massive butterfly effect. And today we're not only in these cities, but we are also exploring the space where we, when we look up, and then just been wondering. Now we have the tools to actually go and explore what's out there, but we don't need to go too far tonight, because okay. Okay, and I would like you to now jump back. We could go and explore space, and I have so many stories to share with you about that as well. But let's now go back to a satellite and go inside the satellite and look at our planet. This is what we see, right? And this is actually, according to the Greek mythology, when Zeus discovered that the fire was shared with humanity, and on his way back to the Earth, this is how he solved the planet. He saw that there were so many human civilizations, and the entire planet was enlightened, and he got so angry, and he sent Prometheus to banish him from Mount Olympus. But then, if we just zoom in a little bit now. Okay, from here. it's better. Yeah? Okay. Thank you, Daniel. This is serious. Yeah. Oopsie. Thank you. Okay. Yay! Okay. Thank you for the info. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. And then let's just zoom in. Let's start zooming in. So we are now looking at Europe, and we're zooming a bit more, and then a bit more. Now we are over, Great Britain, and now we are in London, and this is like the city now that we are all living in. And let's just now focus on like the civilization and then what fire became. So today we have, so what fire was for caveman is what internet is for us. And just in 90s, well, this is the first book about the internet for kids, and back in like when the surfing was the new hype, like on the web. I bet like we all remember the first dialing sound, and if you think about it, that was only 25 years ago. And imagine like how much we have progressed since then. And okay, this video is not moving. But just by now, by 2020, the number of connected objects expected to reach to 50 billion. 50 billion. It's just a number, but if you think about it, there's only 7 billion people on the planet, and only 3.5 billion humans have been touched by internet and this technological revolution. 50 billion devices are going to be connected to the internet by 2020. And again, what fire was for those cavemen is like what these mobile devices are for us today, because it's still the early stages, and these mobile computers entered our pocket only 10 years ago, and it changed everything from our communication to the way we see people, the way we interact, to from business to everything. Everything has changed, and because thanks to these things now, we can just travel around the world. We don't need to be in an office. We can just work from wherever we want. We can just take pictures and send everything across the globe. And if you think about it, we are sending our thoughts to the other side of the planet in less than a second. That's a form of telepathy, and it will sound crazy if you talked about it just even like 15 years ago. And then we're creating artificial intelligences. And as if like what's, again, super interesting is that if Prometheus created humanity, then humanity now is creating a new form of artificial intelligence. So we are actually being like playing the Prometheus. And that AI will also have potential to be a Prometheus on its own and then create their own kind. So it's a bit like as above, so below, as below, so above. And another form of fire became the cryptocurrency. And this cryptocurrency is like, some of us have heard about it and some of us haven't. And it's like the basic thing like the media it talks about, like, you can make easy money, it's the drug money, so on and so forth. But actually, if you think about it, the money is the tool that's that we're all dependent on. Like whether we like it or not, whether we want to change the system or not, that's the main tool of the system, and we all depend on it. And right now, what's happening is that the creation of money is moving from centralized authorities and being given to people like us. So today, maybe it's not easy, but like tomorrow, it's going to be super easy to just start your own project and create your own tokens and then share it and distribute it. And then we have technologies like blockchain, which is allowing us to work in a decentralized way and bringing communities together and building trust. And all these technologies are allowing us to self-govern ourselves, even if we live in big communities. So now we are at the stage in our evolution that's 10,000, where we can now use the technologies and go back to 10,000 years back to the way we used to live. Because back in the cave times, we used to live in a decentralized way. We all knew each other and we all respected each other. And now we can use the technologies to live, even if you're living in millions of people together, we can live in that way. And on the other hand, we have mixed reality technologies, and this is like another form of the powerful fire, because if you think about it, we have been looking for new forms of exploring our inner journeys to outer spaces or what's going on within us, and we've been trying to share it with each other. So we started first drawing paintings on cave walls, and then those cave paintings turned into Sistine chapels. And then if you walk, I bet you must have walked into this kind of spaces. It just mesmerizes you, and then you just feel the energy of the painter and the energy of that place, the sacredness. And what's happening today is we created a technology that doesn't allow us to only create things inside, but it's actually a portal into the world of imagination. So you're not anymore looking at a flat surface of it and where there's a painting. You're now actually stepping into it. In fact, I run School of Cyber Wizardry in this house, and I have a couple of kids coming here, and I teach them augmented and virtual reality. And one of them, once after a virtual reality session, I asked them, like, what do you think about VR? And they were so excited. And then this guy, Luan, he's 9-year-old, he said that, in VR, I can create my imagination, but this time you can step into it. And I was like, wow, like a 9-year-old said that? Like, yeah, there's great hope in the new generation. So, and this is Tilt Brush, where you can paint, and literally, you can paint a virtual reality and give the headset to somebody else, and they can jump into it. Or somebody from other side of the planet can go inside your imagination. It sounds normal to us, but it's actually full-on, next-level stuff. Yeah. And right now, again, like just coming back here, and we are at Bethnal Green, and we are at Punderson's Falcon. Yeah, and we are having a conversation about Promethean Fire. And we all have different reasons to come here today, but I feel that one of the main reasons is that like we got together here today is that like we're aware of what's going on around the world, and we're all interested in technologies and how these technologies can be used for the betterment of our global society. Because we are all aware that like the current system is not working anymore. The happiness is not the money, and it's just like the current system is almost designed to dehumanize our beautiful potential, and we're just like ending up with so many likes and kids getting just addictions, a digital form of addiction, and parents just controlling kids and not allowing them to follow their dreams, again because of the current system. And happiness is being sold as a kid, like if you buy this you'll be happier, if you buy that you'll be happier. But like unfortunately we end up in a society where like if you take the tube at peak hours, you just see a bunch of unhappy people just going 9-to-5 jobs. And yeah, and then even like like the tobacco is being sold, like ego and everything. And unfortunately, like we don't get to see this on this part of the planet, but like there's child labor all around the world. And I always ask this question, like, why do we need to end up in an unhappy society? And why is there so many unfollowed dreams? Again, yeah, taking the tube at 9 to 5. And why do we need to work jobs that we hate so we can buy the shit we don't need? The great part from the Fight Club. And also on the other hand I don't know if you've been to Middle East, but like there's actually a war going on in the Middle East, and unfortunately, people have to move away from their homelands, and it's not an easy thing. Imagine if you have to leave your country and you leave your homeland, and on the other hand, we have our planet just being drowned into global warming, and everything is being destroyed, and it's just really sad to see all this because we have the technology, the power, the medical and scientific understanding, and the money and love and community to bring a human paradise. But we are still dealing with this sort of, scenarios. And we keep on blaming, companies, and we keep on saying that it's them doing it, it's they doing it. But there is no they. There is us. And what we call as they is actually us. Because as the society, we need to realize our true potential, our true power, because these companies and politicians exist because of us. If we remove us from the equation, they don't exist. Because Facebook exists because we use their service, because we are their products, they're selling us. If you stop using Facebook, may not make a difference. But if you inspire 100 people to stop using Facebook, if those 100 people inspire other 100 people, and eventually if people stop using Facebook, there won't be a Facebook. And same with Google, and same with companies like McDonald's. And so rather than just like blaming directly to the companies, we should actually try to find what we need to blame within ourselves and understand that like we gotta be the change that we want to see in the world. And let me see. Yeah, so then we won't need to deal with issues like global warming and see our planet just being melted. or just generations just getting just like zombified behind their screens, or scenarios like that. They're gathering more and more data, and we don't need to push our planet off the edge. We can actually elevate it. All we need to do is understand all this, and rather than panicking, we need to see the greater potential, and we need to organize. And again, this blackfish here is not the corporation. It's the side within us that tells us that it's the corporation. It's the side that blames the other. And rather than that, we need to see us all as one, and then start working as a collective. And this is one of the things that why we put up Promethean Fire together. And it's because we have great technologies, but lots of people talk about it. But this is the image that we always end up. Everybody talks about, say decentralization, we change everything, and then, everybody Ethereum, and then, did you recently read an article? And some of it, And we want to change this last part, and then actually when people say they're Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then when their friend asks so what is that? And then we want people to answer, because it's great that we're using these technologies, but if our corner off licenses, if people in the kebab shops, if people that we meet on the tube, they are not talking about these technologies, we can't bring that this so-called revolution into being, because if we want to have a massive change, we need to have every single person in the planet just talking about these things. And so here we would like to do a survey right now, just before we starting the tonight. Have you used Mentimeter before? So it's going to help us see what the collective here knows about these technologies. If you don't mind getting your phone out and go to menti.com right now, and then has everybody started voting? So basically, Mentimeter is now going to allow us to see how much we know about these technologies. So we got now 19 people, not 20. Okay, well, 30 people in. Good. As a part of every Promethean Fire, I'm going to be collecting data of how much we have learned, how much data that before the event starts and data that after the event, and we're going to compare and see how much awareness we've actually raised in the collective. Roughly, it looks like AI is the most hot topic right now, and lots of people know cryptocurrency as well. So then we got to focus on mixed reality and the blockchain. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna collect the data, and then we're gonna come back to this one and then continue. So at yeah. So at every Promethean Fire, we're going to be touching like different branches of the Promethean Fire of our today's technologies. So we're going to have speakers from blockchain and decentralization. We're going to have speakers from artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and virtual reality. Because I mean, every single conference that I've been to, they're just focusing on one aspect of this fire. But actually, if you see this as all as one and see that like everything actually works together, because if you want to navigate on blockchain or work with organizations in blockchain, you also need to learn how to use cryptocurrency. And you need to also understand like what AI is being used for, and soon or later, virtual reality is going to be used to. If you heard about it, like VRML in '90s, people wanted to actually create virtual reality headset that allowed people to dive into to internet. In fact, the owner of this space, Brooke, was one of the creators of VRML, but the project didn't take off in '90s because it was too early for people to put a headset and go into internet. But hopefully, sometime soon, we will do that. And so the event has we have great sponsors from Satalia. We're a decentralized artificial intelligence company, and tonight we have the speaker Daniel Holm speaking, and we have CyberRabbit is the company that I have started in London. We explore technology with kids. We have Atomic Arts, which is our visual effects company, the company of Brooke. We work with on various blockbusters. We have Phoenix. Will Harbour started the concept, and then now he's going to be talking about it. It's a decentralized exchange and completely owned by its users. And DAO Stack. And we're going to be touching actually DAOs quite a lot, decentralized autonomous organizations. And I would like to also talk about like a gifting economy. What we like to do at Promethean Fire is that like we are going to keep the events free completely, because we believe that like the knowledge should be shared completely freely. But have you heard about gifting economy? So you create an event and you do whatever it is and you share it and you don't expect anything back. It's the economy of that Burning Man has, But at the gifting economy, like you can receive something and then you can give something back if you want. But what we want to share is that when we keep the events free, if you are coming to this kind of events and if you're earning certain amount of money, if you're a student, you come for free. But if you're earning certain amount of money, like let's say, like from 15K to like 150,000 a year, then like it's like when we have ticket system, then it's unfair for somebody who's earning 20K a year, 60K a year, and then 150K a year paying the same amount. I personally find this unfair. If you're earning a bit more, I think you should also be able to like put a bit more money. And then we just want people to like put their hands in their heart and just be like, okay, how much do you actually want to support? Because we live in a world like if you can pay £5 a pint, we can also like support each other and make events like Promethean Fire or any other events or any other exhibitions, just carry on progressing. So yeah, so then because we believe that the best things in life are shared, and also again like Burning Man, if you've been to like this kind of festivals, it's great, but if you're not taking what you have learned from there and then bringing it into this world, then it's just a week of amazement. But then if we have this opportunity to have that amazement, we also need to get that inspiration and take it to our communities and share it, because we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. Because when that happens is that because when a mind gets expanded by a new idea, it cannot go back to its old dimension. So, and our aim to do this is because like if you start changing your mindset from buying a ticket for a certain amount for a certain for an event, and actually just gifting your energy, and so then maybe like next time when you see a homeless person, like you will actually see that like it's actually gifting economy. Maybe you will not only just give money, but actually give your time and actually spend them with them and just share and care. Or maybe next time when the charity comes to you and because you have change your mindset to gifting economy, like you will start gifting your energy. And this is important because we are not collectively just building a new civilization, but each one of us is actually a building block of that, the foundations of that civilization. And we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And this is because we are the building blocks of this new civilization, then we need to be the change, so then the foundations of that new civilization are really strong. And we have really strong roots. So then, a bit like the story of Tower of Babel, once upon a time, there was a civilization that lived and then that unified the entire planet, and then together, rather than competing, they were working on building a tower to reach heavens. And we're a bit at that part, but like what happened then was, when the gods became aware of this civilization building this tower to reach heavens, they created language barriers, and then because of those language barriers, people started fighting, and then eventually the tower fell. We don't need to allow that to happen again, and if we actually build this tower again on the good foundations, we can elevate our global society. So tonight, we have great speakers from all sorts of, from the 4 branches that we talked. So we are going to start tonight with Daniel Hahn. He is the founder of Satalia, and he's also one of the leading leaders in global decentralization. And he's going to take us onto a journey of capitalism to AI and global decentralization and what's waiting us. And then we have Owen Barnes, who's an independent developer. His expertise is cryptocurrency and decentralized social networks. We have Livia. She's an artist, and she's a representative of Genesis DAO, like decentralized autonomous organizations, and she's going to be talking about like our the online community, Genesis DAO, and how you can become part of it, how you can use blockchain to share your thoughts and even raise funds for your projects, like I've been doing for Promethean Fire. And we have Will Harburn, and he's the concept developer of Phoenix, and which is the first really decentralized exchange where customers are in full charge. And we're gonna go with Luis Miguel and Lumi. He's the founder of Solfi, and they're creating a soul communication, a new technology that allows for you to communicate through souls and actually turn the energy fields of humans into a mixed reality experience. And then I'm here myself. I'm the founder of CyberRabbit, and I like to call myself enthusiast of life technology and expansion. So thank you. And thank you for your existence. Yeah.